Hey everyone, we're back. We're gonna make some routes, school route. It's gonna be an interesting drive. This has always been interesting. There's a really tough series of roundabouts that FSD has trouble with, of course, and we're gonna end it with the McDonald's one-way torture test. So a lot of good stuff. With that, we'll get going to the first part here. I've enabled FSD. We're in drive. It seems like it wants to go. Little behavior. I'm just going to tap on the accelerator and get it started. All right. So we're here with my teenager son. He can commentate if he wants. Many thanks for him for being my previous handheld camera operator. He's now out of a job because I have a new mount set up. Taken over by AI. Well, that was a bad joke, but yeah. Not taken over by AI, but I don't think, did we pay you anything before? No. All right. Well, here's one. This is a left. It's very blind. As a human, I would go maybe a little bit further, and this seems to be what FSD is doing. And there's no cars. Got some pedestrians here. This is that back there was a spot we had one disengagement for before, for a safety disengagement. But anyways, that was good with the pedestrians. There was a lot of interesting things. I wanted to show you guys the other day on this route. Oh, there's all the roots that I would avoid as a human. But FSD12 did some pretty cool maneuvers and did a good job. And it's actually kind of a more busy time of traffic around the school, so I think we might see some interesting things. Got a left. Expect this to be just fine. You can see it's a little overcast here. Rained a little bit yesterday. Yeah, and the reason why this is going to be interesting is because of this standard stuff. That there's traffic getting on the freeway. It's often bunched up here, and then this whole area is quite bad as far as even humans trying to negotiate this. Now, the other day, again, I don't have a video of it, FSD actually did a great job of, when the lane was blocked, of a very human-like maneuver, going alongside it, signaling a driver, let them in, and it all worked out. So we'll see what happens today. I say, even as a human, this gives me a little anxiety to take this route. Sometimes I take an alternative route here, which is about the same time but less traffic, and you don't have to make this hard left maneuver. But this is the map. This is often what we take, and it's difficult for humans and for FSD. Good acceleration. I like this lane choice behavior as well. I've talked about this before. But often what happens is there's a line of cars getting onto both sides of the freeway, here and here. Sometimes as a smart and aggressive human, you can kind of get around that without cutting anybody off and get into the line. I think this is perfectly fine, especially today at this time, for FSD to be in, and eventually the next lane, because likely the line of cars will start to back up all the way to that freeway, the second freeway entrance, and that would, if it gets in the lane I think it does, it'll mean that we won't cut anybody off. And even if you're a human driver trying to optimize time, that that maybe will buy you an extra 10 to 30 seconds, so it's not a big deal. right. Nice start. Porsche on the right. I had a nice little acceleration boost. And I like this lane. Sometimes FSD will get over to this lane. Again, some of these cars are the ones that back you up on the freeway. Today, interestingly enough, it's not full of cars, which is not totally expected, but this is the lane we do want to be in. It looks fairly free up ahead, which is great. Nice smooth behavior so far. We have our U-turn torture test coming up here, and I will explain that after we stop and do the drop off. I will explain that. Any comments from the peanut gallery over there? All right, we got a silence. No secondary commentary today. We'll see if he feels inspired. Okay, this is coming up to the second freeway entrance. Often FSD12 will kind of jitter right here, thinking if it wants to go this way. Today it looks quite smooth. Didn't even seem to think about wanting to take that. Okay, so the next challenge will be just moving over. 12 does a really good job moving to that right lane. Here is a light and a left turn lane where almost every single time FSD12 it's either it does something to think about going into that lane. It'll at least twitch the wheel, think about going into that lane for a second. I did have a disengagement previously because it actively went into that lane, but so far it's been fine. It still continues the correct way, even though if it jitters. But so we'll see this time if it even thinks about going here. So yes, interestingly enough, this is less traffic. So I don't think we're going to see that cool behavior because the lane up here is pretty clear, and we're going to get over, and we're not going to have to do an aggressive merge. So here's the left that sometimes FSD thinks about. So, okay, it did a little tiny bit there. It thought for a second about going there, but ultimately did the right thing. Great maneuvers getting into this left lane. It's going to come up with two lefts here. And once we go past this light, I'm going to do the drop off and manually disengage. This point is not exactly 100% the point where we'll actually do the drop off, so I'll manually disengage. And we'll stop the video and continue on. Yeah, interesting. I mean, that's why you test this every day, because you never know what the traffic conditions are going to be. I actually expected for this time to be a lot more cars and people in this lane. There's usually a big cluster here with humans trying to negotiate getting in to these lanes. A little creep here. I'm not sure why. It's certainly fine, but I'm not sure why FSD decided to do that right now rather than before. But we'll have to do this route other times as well, because you never know what the situations will be. Okay. Protected green left. Good behavior. Okay, I'm going to manually disengage and go into the right lane here, just because this is one of our drop-off options. And we'll see here. I'll pull over. Give me 1 second. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, so we're going to continue here. So this is, this is not staged. This is pretty standard for this route. Once you go down this road near the school, there's actually a gate, and you see the map has us going past the gate. That doesn't really acknowledge a gate here. And as humans, you have 3 chances to make a roundabout. Well, there's one here, which is you don't want to turn left. It's not allowed. And then, so that doesn't even count. But there's one where most of the human drivers will take that one. That leads to some interesting situations with, cars making swinging from the right to the left to make that U-turn. There's a second option people choose, which is less ideal because there's less turning radius, but a lot of people do that. And then the third one is actually the most ideal for FSD because it's before the gate, and it actually has plenty of space on the sides of the road that's to make a U-turn. I don't believe there's any U-turn signs. Once you pass those 3 spots to make a U-turn, you're at the gate. And so what happened, I don't expect the current FSD12 to make any of these 3 roundabouts, U-turns, it's just quite hard. There's no signs, but this will definitely be needed for RoboTaxi, because as you see, if you get in here, the only way you're going to get out is going through those U-turns. So it's a little bit of a torture test. I do count it as a disengagement because in order for me to continue on my route to McDonald's, you have to make one of these turns. So it's a harsh critique of FSD. It's hard, but again, it's a real disengagement. I don't expect FSD to handle this right now. So anyways, let's continue the trip. I'm going to negotiate my way out of here as a human for a second, and FSD will definitely have to deal with all the traffic here. I'm going to engage, and we'll see what FSD does. I'm going to turn down the speed quite a bit here. Again, I've covered it before. I know there's a new speed control to go, whatever speed the traffic is. From FSD11, I had a fixed % offset. I'm going to keep that. I like that so far. I want to test how it does. But this is just be interesting. So first of all, this isn't the first roundabout. You might see that there's a gap, and you might see on the left here that there's a no U-turn. So this is the 0th, if you will, the place you cannot actually make a roundabout. And upcoming is going to be those 3 different spots I was mentioning. 1, 2, 3. And I don't expect FSD to attempt to take any of these, but I'm going to get it on camera to show you guys how challenging it would be for RoboTaxi of any kind, whether Tesla, Google, to be able to handle and getting out of the situation. So, and there's a lot of interesting behavior, cars going in and out last minute. I'm just going to let FSD do its thing and deal with this traffic. It's a little bit chaotic in here. So far, nice and slow, as expected. A little bit of light rain. FSD is doing a good job of letting this truck in. I put his blinker on. I'm sure he's going to pull over. It's interesting, sometimes people have their butts out a little bit because they can't quite make it in. And that's good. It's a nice acceleration, but not too much, which is good. Okay. Yep. Okay, so here's the first main roundabout. This is the one I take as a human. There's no you know, there's no signs for this. And you see up ahead, there's cars making the second roundabout. You see some of this behavior, them going to the right. You know, FSD has to handle not taking this. And we got a truck behind us that is wants to go straight here. So I'm not going to let FSD do any kind of crazy maneuver. But this is the third semi-protected roundabout here that FSD is not going to even take, I'm sure. It's not going to even attempt it because it's too hard. And so yes, it's going straight. We're going to hit a gate here, and I will basically just ask the guard to go around. I'm going to let FSD continue for without disengaging for a little bit to see what it does with this gate behavior. Before I disengage, just want to see what it does, if the occupancy network or anything else are on. So yeah, seems like it stopped. Hi. Morning. Can I just go around? Turn around? Yeah, thank you. Have a good one. You too. Okay, so the gate guard let me go around. I'm gonna wait for these cars here. So you see there's quite a bit of traffic coming out of this gate, and you can see again what I was saying before is that the route has it certainly passed this. So I'm going to re-enable FSD, and we'll go back through that maze. So essentially this is the third one. You see that there's space to do a roundabout, but there's no signs whatsoever. So this is a RoboTaxi torture test, I would say, because again, you have to get out of here. In order to get out of here, you have to be able to negotiate. So great, nice move around these pedestrians. Okay, so we're gonna have to come through where cars are making roundabouts, so that'll be interesting. You know, maybe in the future I'll do that loop again, but you know, there's no way FSD12 in its current state is going to be able to make those. It does have better U-turn behavior. I haven't seen it myself, especially with you know, U-turns that are marked. But we're going to continue on our next destination, which is McDonald's, which is essentially our second torture test. So anyways, back there I would count that as one disengagement, like a RoboTaxi disengagement is what I call it, to continue on our route. And we'll continue to McDonald's, where we have the second part of our test. This is to test a couple one-ways with a median that is, you know, some people in comments on YouTube have called it poorly designed, unfair. You know, that might be fair. There's no signs or anything, but certainly FSD has to be able to handle it. And I tried this 2 days ago, I believe. It actually FSD made it. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on video, but the way I count it, for this one-way torture test, FSD has failed twice and made it once. So we'll see here on this fourth test what it does. I'm actually going to put that in the next video, but I'm going to finish this video in this route at McDonald's and kind of set you up. But for this drive, so far, pretty good. I mean, the only disengagement we had was for those U-turns. Again, that's expected. Everything else was smooth and nice behavior. You know, FSD12 did a good job. We're here at this light. It's fine. You know, as a human, I don't love being in the right lane, because, you know, there's cars turning right and they can't do that when you're blocking the lane. But it's, you can see FSD is in this lane, so we could make our next destination. Okay, so when we turn into this road, Cord Avenue, we're gonna see it's a one-way with a median, and then that'll be the setup for our next video. So you see McDonald's here on the right, we're turning into this Cord Avenue, which is a one way with the median, and I don't see any markings or signs on the road or elsewhere, but essentially we're going to turn into the McDonald's parking lot. And with that, that'll be the end. I'm going to disengage this video. So yeah, thanks for watching this one, and catch me on the next video. GoPro, stop recording.